Hello, and welcome back to Madness in the Method, the greatest Nicolas Cage podcast on the internet. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my friend and trusty co-host, Christopher.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. And hello to Nicolas Cage once again, because he made another movie. Can you believe it? This time it's a drug smuggling, gritty thriller thing. Crime movie, whatever, called Running with the Devil. Let's talk about it.
So let's start off as we usually do. Had you heard of this movie before?
I had seen the poster before. It was one of those that popped up when you looked at like bad movies or whatever. You know?
Oh, okay.
So I'd seen the poster, but I had no idea what it was about.
And what were you expecting based on just the poster? It's been on a bad movie list, and it's Nicolas Cage, and the name of it. What were your thoughts?
Well, I thought based on the poster where it says 2 runners, 1 mission, 0 chance. I thought Nicolas Cage and Lawrence Fishburne were gonna team up to find out who was taking their drugs. That's not what happens.
No?
Nicolas Cage do go on a quest to find out who's ruining stuff with his boss's drugs, but it's with what's his name, Cole Hauser, not with Lawrence Fishburne. They're not even in. No, they are in the end. They're in the same, but they're barely in the picture together.
Yeah.
And it was that's what I thought. I don't know what else I thought it was going to be like an action movie, but this was not an action movie at all. I don't think.
Well, no, it's not. So now after you've seen the movie, are you, without giving away your scores, are you positive or negative?
Pretty negative.
Pretty negative. Okay.
I didn't like it at all.
All right. Yes. So for me, I hadn't heard of it ever, and based on, again, the poster and name, I was thinking this was going to be one of those. Oh yeah, I had seen, but that's because in our list of all the movies, we have the Nicolas Cage character's name.
Yeah.
And his name is The Cook. So based on that, I was thinking this was going to be some kind of cat and mouse thing, where Nicolas Cage was doing some crime things, and Lawrence Fishburne was kind of a cop, and they were trying to get each other or something like that. Or maybe the other way around. That was what I was thinking, and I didn't really get that it was about drugs, just crimes, I guess. So yeah. And I thought this was, I think I said that last week, that this felt back to a nothing movie. So yes. I was really expecting nothing, really. I didn't expect anything good or anything bad, just a meh.
A big whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think now that I think it was, since I had so low expectations, I liked the movie more than I maybe should.
Okay. Feels like that's happened before with you.
Yeah. I think it's a lot about expectations for me.
Okay.
But yeah, so because I think this movie it was overall not a good movie. Just to be upfront with that, this is not a good movie.
No.
But there were some things that I liked, and I didn't hate it.
Okay.
That's sort of where I come from.
Because I gotta say, I was in the midst of a pretty bad cold, which I'm still sort of recovering from when I watched this. So maybe I wasn't in the best headspace to watch it, but I just lay there in my bed. I didn't fall asleep until the very, very end, but it was only for like a couple of seconds. I realized, because I did rewind. Although rewinding did not help me with like figuring out what actually happened in the end. I was like, wait, he fell down? We'll get to that. Sorry.
Yeah. But I think we should just overall describe this movie, because this is a movie that no one has seen.
Yeah.
And I don't think I recommend anyone to see it. So
No.
I don't think this is a movie that's worth a spoiler warning.
Nah.
So I'll say we just go through the movie, not scene by scene, but just overall from beginning to end before we start.
Because there's not much happening in it. Like, there is a drug smuggling thing, whatever, a car gets attacked somewhere in South America.
Mm-hmm.
They get shot down, and and then they cut from that to, like, I don't exactly remember, but then we find out that Nicolas Cage, who works as a chef or a cook, also works as some sort of enforcer or manager or something for a drug cartel. Who is?
I was thinking that too, but I don't think that's what's going on with his role.
Oh, okay.
So this is well, no, I'm gonna get to that later on. I'm gonna get to that because that's for later. So just going over the movie, I think we just start that. We're going over the movie before we start speculating things.
Because so Barry Pepper contacts him. Barry Pepper, who's the boss in this movie, he contacts the cook, Nicolas Cage, and tells him, "This is the second time now. You have to figure out what's hauling, or else it's your ass," basically. Yeah. Because he's responsible, I guess. And Barry Pepper, the boss, sends Cole Hauser, the executioner, with Nicolas Cage. And they go basically all the way to the beginning of the drug smuggling journey, which is where the stuff gets made. Where we have what's his name? Oh, he's not in the main cast? Oh, okay.
No, I don't think.
But he's the guy. What's his name?
I
He's
know.
he does he's like a famous actor.
Yeah.
He's in Crank 2.
He's also in Rules of Attraction.
Yeah. Clifton Collins Jr.
Right.
Clifton Collins Jr. is uncredited in this movie. That's insane. Okay. He is the farmer, and together with his wife and his 2 kids, they pick some coca leaves, and then you see them turn that into bricks of cocaine. Pure cocaine. He delivers it to a place in the city. He kills two guys on the way, and then he delivers it to a place in the city or the town, and that's where Nicolas Cage picks it up. It's supposed to, usually it's someone else, but now Nicolas Cage is there to pick it up. And they basically follow the drugs then through various mules all the way to Los Angeles or whatever. Or no, it's Washington, right?
No, it's the West Coast all the way. Washington. North Washington, D.C. Yeah,
exactly.
Washington, the state. Right, you're correct.
And on the way, they make sure nothing happens with it. Like, one of the mules, he cuts it a little bit and sells it at a club, so they kill him at some guy's place. We don't really know who he is. He cooks some food and then kills him. And during this, there is a B plot where the agent, Leslie Bibb, I guess she works for FBI or CIA or something, DEA maybe.
I would guess DEA or CIA, I guess, but it's not important. It's not important.
Now she's in charge to figure out what is killing people in the city right now, because people are dying left and right from some sort of death drug.
Her actual name in the movie is Agent in Charge.
Yeah, exactly. She's Agent in Charge. Yeah, not even the agent in charge.
And it's her with Peter Facinelli. Yeah, that guy.
Who's number 1?
Yeah.
I thought that was Riker in Star Trek. Huh?
From Twilight, right?
I don't know.
Isn't he?
He's
I think he's the.
Yeah, he's the dad of the vampire family.
Dad in Twilight, right? Yeah,
Doctor something.
His character, every character in this is like the cook, the man, agent in charge, the executioner, the snitch, number 1, the boss.
Because that's cool. No, I think I know why that is, but we'll get to that later. So they have to figure out what's killing these people. The drugs, we need to find the drugs, and it starts with her sister, I think, or someone she knows gets killed.
It's her sister.
It's her sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she has a personal, she has personal stakes in this.
Yes.
Even though that usually means you're not put on the case, she gets put on the case.
Yeah.
I don't know. So she goes at it basically from the other end of the drug smuggling thing. She goes after the pushers. One of them, she goes after both, but one of them being Lawrence Fishburne. He's just a drug pusher. Who has a sex addiction, and he hangs out with Adam Goldberg, who doesn't. He's not a drug seller. He just hangs out with him.
Yeah, I think he's just either he's a friend or he's sort of a
associate.
I think what it is called, like a low gang member, like a low guy in the Italian mob. There's a name for it, but I don't remember the name. But something like that, I think.
Yeah, like a soldier.
Yeah, a soldier or something like that.
However, Leslie Bibb captures him after they try to dump 2 dead hookers at a one of them was dead, the other one just OD'd.
Yeah.
At a hospital. So they're like, aha, another one of the death drug victims. So then he turns into the snitch. And they torture him to find out where the drugs came from. The thing is that this goes on as we see Nicolas Cage and Cole Hauser follow the drugs from South America into North America.
Exactly.
Or Central America or whatever. No, it's South America. But the two timelines they're not parallel. Leslie Bibb's timeline with the snitch and the man, Lawrence Fishburne, the man, that is just like the last few days of the whole timeline, so to speak. While Nicolas Cage and Cole Hauser feels like they're going for weeks, or at least a week, following the drugs, and it all culminates in Lawrence Fishburne snitching on Nicholas. No, wait. He snitches on. Well,
Don't you remember what the movie was happening?
It gets so muddled. Like they give up the whole. They give up the where they get the drugs from, which is from Nicolas Cage. But it's not really Nicolas Cage. He's just an enforcer. He's not the guy who actually gives him the drugs, but he does here.
So I think you sort of missed not a big part, but a key part of the movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying that's going to make the movie better in any way, but just a key part to make the story make sense in another way.
Okay.
So the movie is, I would say this movie, because I think the movie that's my biggest positive of the movie. I think the movie is interesting, in a way, a kind of a boring documentary can still be interesting sort of way.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you mean by that. For me, it's the opposite. I thought it was so boring because nothing happens.
Yeah, because the movie is really, it is that how cocaine, it is cocaine, right? Yeah, cocaine.
Yes.
How cocaine is the entire supply line of cocaine.
Yeah, from plant leaf up your nose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we follow, so the story, the movie is about the whole way, but to make it sort of a journey for the audience to follow, we get this Nicolas Cage character. So from what I gather, based on this small scene with his wife, and based on how people talk with him, I don't think he's an enforcer. I think he is the last leg. He and Lawrence Fishburne is the last leg of this supply line.
Okay.
And the closer to the boss you are, to selling, I guess, the more important you are, and the more you are paid, and the more your work is worth.
Yeah, sure.
We always see this. The money goes up throughout the journey. We always get this At every leg we see.
Yeah, and it
how
becomes
much
more
it
and more
costs.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the key thing behind the Nicolas Cage story arc that you're talking is modeled at the end. It's Nicolas Cage and Lawrence Fishburne. Their work, from what I gather, is always to take it and go through the forest with it. That's their job. That's their leg of the road to get it that.
Oh, I
that
thought
point.
Lawrence Fishburne was just some guy who was like dealing on the streets.
Yeah, and that is the issue. He is dealing on the street, but he's not supposed to.
Oh,
he's
right!
just a mule.
Yeah, right. Oh no. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
So that's the big thing, that Nicolas Cage is set because he's at the top. He's not right hand, but he's the guy who delivers to the boss.
Yeah.
And he has probably based again on how his wife is talking about that, because she said like, you're done with this.
Yeah.
That he probably were lower down before and did a lot of some worse things before, worse paid, and he has worked up into this position of just doing the last leg with Lawrence Fishburne, and they have this history, so they've probably always been a team, sort of. And he gets called from the boss to say, somewhere in this line we have a leak. Drugs are disappearing on this line.
Yeah.
You need to figure out where. And until you figure out where, you're just gonna have to just do the entire thing and just follow through everywhere.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends, or at the last act of the movie, Nicolas Cage figures out, oh, it's my best friend, or at least my closest co-worker, is the guy who is leaking drugs. And I've done all of this work for this fucking guy. For
Lawrence Fishburne.
Like, at home. Yeah.
But wait. Is he the guy that is giving up the location of the drugs so the commandos in South America can shoot up the cars as well?
No, that's a... Because in that scene, we see... I think it is... Don't we see that they're, like, sort of paid off?
Yeah, but by who? That's the thing that annoyed me the most. It's like we never really got to know exactly who was ruining the drug stuff in South America.
Oh, I didn't gather that. I gathered that was a red herring. That was just a... Because we see when Nicolas Cage is following, we see another point where they are
they killed two guys,
Yeah, and then they get killed and things like... And
well, we never found out who they work for.
No, and I think... I think that's the way I interpret it was... That's not important. This happens down there, and it's always taken care of. It's not a specific guy who hired them. It's just people know they are selling drugs, and people are trying to interfere throughout to take advantage and interfere on the way. But that's always a solution. But now it keeps half of it gets through.
Huh.
Not all of it. Sometimes you miss an entire shipment, and that's something that happens. But now it's been several shipments where the shipment goes through, but it's missing at the end.
Yeah. But why send Nicolas Cage to figure that out?
Because he is sort of he's one of the top of the chain.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's a trusted person.
Why in the screenplay? Because he goes all the way. Yeah, he stops this shipment from being destroyed or taken or whatever, stolen. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't figure out who's doing it. So why?
No, because it is Lawrence Fishburne all along who is the one. I think you're hung up on this opening scene. I don't think the opening scene has anything to do with it. So
Lawrence Fishburne hired the two guys who killed the cops and tried to take the drugs as well?
What cops? In South America?
Yeah.
No, again, I'm saying again, I think disregard that seed in the beginning. I don't think.
But what is it that Lawrence Fishburne does? Then?
He takes half of it and sells it on the street.
He takes half of it. Oh, I didn't know that was that much.
Or half of it, or whatever, a third of it, or some of it.
Oh, okay. But in the beginning, Barry Pepper, the boss, is he asking for Nicolas Cage to find out who's taking half of the drugs?
No, he is...
Or whatever.
Yeah, he's calling Nicolas Cage to say, we were short again. We have been short several deliveries now.
Oh, so you're saying, okay, that's what I meant. You're saying it's a red herring.
Yeah, that it's
Jeez,
not about
that makes
South
it even
American.
worse.
Yeah, it's not about the South American thing. It is about he called Nicolas Cage to say, "Hey, you're the last leg. We have been short," and he says, "Well, it's not my part. It's short when it gets to me."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, in that case, you have to go and check why it's short when it gets to you." And he goes all this throughout South America and Mexico and all of it, and then he finds out, oh, it's Lawrence Fishburne, my friend.
It was literally in the same city as me. Oh,
yeah, all along, and that's why he gets like, fuck you. And at the end, he's like, you could have just come to me, and I could have made you give you help to be clean. Aren't you paid enough? What the fuck is your problem?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got hung up on the whole South America attacks. That okay.
Again, it could also be that I have missed a huge part of the movie, but this is the way I interpret the movie.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the big thing at the end where because we see in the beginning they kill Lawrence Fishburne, but we don't realize that.
Okay.
Yeah, the scene where Lawrence Fishburne is burned at the end. That is the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Where we see a guy in the bathroom.
Yeah. Oh right. Oh okay. Yeah, I did not connect it because, like I said, I was out of it towards the end. I was bored. I was confused because I was still thinking like, who did the thing in South America then?
Yeah. So I think the movie is about that. We have this sort of red herring with South American stuff, so we can't figure out that it is Lawrence Fishburne all along. That we need these sort of red herrings along the way, because otherwise it would be too obvious, in a way.
But that's so sad, because Lawrence Fishburne's character is such a fucking screw up.
Yeah, and that is, and he is a screw up because he started to get high on his own supply.
Yeah, and started cutting it with, is it fentanyl, or where does he say this?
Fentanyl and heroin. I think
yeah,
it is.
Jesus Christ, that's a surefire way to kill your clients.
Yeah. So that's the movie. We follow this entire thing, and at the end we have this thing with Lawrence Fishburne and Nicolas Cage. And Lawrence Fishburne, he sort of kills Nicolas Cage.
He pushes him off a cliff.
Nicolas Cage clumsily falls off for some weird reason, and then because Lawrence Fishburne, it doesn't help him up.
Yeah, he sees an opportunity to fuck you.
So he takes, because he knows that he has like the eyes on him at this point. So he kills Nicolas Cage because Nicolas Cage has found out his problem. Yeah, and then he goes and delivers the drugs to show the boss that, look, I am a good guy. I should be sort of what Nicolas Cage is. Yeah. I should be the last guy.
Yeah. But then Nicolas Cage comes back.
Yeah, we have this stupid fucking reveal where Nicolas Cage is like, no, I didn't die.
He does a revenant and crawls out of the forest.
Yeah.
After falling to his death.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's just because it's Nicolas Cage and we need sort of a hero. But it would have been so much better if they just killed Lawrence Fishburne at the end, because they're like, we don't care about Nicolas Cage, and we found out you're the issue.
Yeah, we just
fuck you.
We're just gonna kill everyone because we're drug people. We're bad.
Yeah, sort of.
Because that's the feeling I get that this is supposed to do. Like show the whole thing from beginning to end. Like, this is what happens when drugs are involved. Yeah. People die, and you know.
Yeah, I sort of interpret the movie in a way. Yeah, obviously that, because that's why we have this whole subplot with the agents. Yeah, that is to get the moral really knocked into your brain. Yeah. But from my point of view, I thought it was pretty interesting to see how many people are involved and how long the journey is and all this. I thought that was interesting. And you could really every leg sort of on the journey could sort of been its own little story. Which I like.
Yeah, and
you only see a snapshot of it, but it could have been, especially this guy you talk about who cooked food.
Yeah,
who is sort of some high-ranking middle cartel guy.
Yeah,
who is probably working with a lot of other things than only this. But he is sort of a control point, a trusted control point. Because he weighs all the drugs when it comes to him.
Yeah, and he also he's also the guy who gets them a new drug mule when they kill the guy who's taking some of it.
So I'm thinking it's the guy who makes it, and then there's like two guys, I think, to transport it to the cartel guy, and he checks in to see everything is fine, and then he puts. Does he fix the plane guy? The parachute guy, maybe?
I don't remember. All I remember is the boat captain who takes it from Central America into Mexico is like a... he speaks like a pirate, or he has like a Scottish accent. He's like, oh yeah, I'm the captain of this ship. I'll take your drugs to Mexico for you. It's like, what are you doing in South America? Just because he's a skipper and he has a captain's hat, he doesn't have to be like, "Yar, I'm a pirate." that was weird. Why wasn't that a South American guy?
Who knows?
Who knows? And I do agree that it was like, cool to see. The whole process and how and you see why it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Because it's literally, and I had seen like actual documentary stuff of how it's being made, which that's the best deterrent ever. I will never do cocaine after seeing how it's actually made. Like it's crushed up in like a mud hut, put into a rusty oil drum, and like boiled with gasoline. I'm like, no thanks. What the fuck?
Sort of like looking at those the Indian street food things.
Yeah, you're like, nah, skip it.
I'm good.
Yeah. So I was aware of that, but then to see the whole journey, that was interesting. But yeah, as a documentary, I guess no actual drug smugglers would let you follow along the whole way like that.
Yeah.
So it's the closest we got. So sure, that's interesting. But I was really looking for more of a 3-act structure suspense thing, not just cars driving and Nicolas Cage following along and Lawrence Fishburne having sex with hookers who die. It's like nothing happened. There was no like, oh shit, we're in a shootout and there's the guy, run after him. No, they were just following the drugs along. That was why it was so boring to me.
Yeah,
it wasn't particularly. It wasn't particularly like poorly executed or anything. It was fine. Like cinematography, directing, the acting was kind of whatever, but it was just so blah, whatever.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing of this movie, that you need to have a. You need to think it's interesting just to see the journey.
Yeah,
because the quote-unquote stories that they create around this, they are pretty basic and pretty bad.
Yeah.
There are some good parts of it. I think most of Lawrence Fishburne's things before he really gets involved with the story. I think that's pretty good in his apartment. And,
yeah, sure.
And it's some good like time skipping where everything is... when you see like 24 hours in span of
because that feels like
2
a
minutes
movie.
Or something. Yeah, there's some good stuff there, and we have the story with his daughter and the wife, and we have the dead prostitute, so they need to figure that out. And it felt sort of it was not on par quality wise, but story wise, it felt sort of like a Quentin Tarantino plot. Just how the plot was. That was pretty good, but that was because it was not part of the main story.
Yeah.
Sort of. So yeah, there's... You need to find the drug trade to be interesting. If not, this movie's gonna bore the shit out of you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought it was pretty interesting, so I liked it. I thought it was entertaining enough.
Yeah, no, I really need the inciting incident, the second act low point, and the false sense of security, and then the climax.
Yeah.
Otherwise, unless it's like super experimental and interesting in that way, I think a movie's kind of boring if it doesn't at least try to sort of follow that structure. So I didn't.
Fair enough.
I found this extremely boring and a little confusing.
But I also think, again, that a lot of these small stories. I liked it. I really, really liked the entire. It's very cliche, yes, but it was very well made. The scene with the guy who was cooking food. I liked that.
Oh yeah,
scene.
sure.
With that leg. I also really liked the guy who was making. What did you say his name was?
Clifton Collins Jr., the farmer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that part because it's this. Especially in contrast with the rest of the movie, that is this guy who trying to provide for his family.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you see this when he gets trapped or whatever with these two guys trying to steal his thing, and he's just cold-bloodedly kill them.
Yeah,
and it's like, that's life.
And also that before we see him, we see his wife taking their two children to school, or taking them out of school. I don't remember. And like, oh, your school fee is late. She's like, oh, we're struggling with money right now. It's like, that's why they're working with the drug people to get some extra money. And like, oh, it's a terrible situation they're in. In a real movie, the farmer or the wife to the farmer, because the farmer gets killed or something, would somehow end up like in the end of the movie. Like,
yes,
it goes like full circle. Sort of like, have you seen Sicario, the Denis Villeneuve movie?
No, I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
It's a really good movie. You should check it out. But that's kind of similar because it deals with illegal immigration and like how drug cartels use border jumpers to like smuggle drugs and stuff like that. And it starts with this. We see this cop. In the beginning of the movie, he just wakes up in Mexico. He wakes up, he eats breakfast, he has his son who loves football and everything. And you're like, okay. And throughout the movie, we see him just waking up, going to work every day. And so what is the point of this? While Josh Brolin and the other guys are like trying to find the bad guys. But then as they finally cross the border to get the bad guys, that's where the cop shows up because he works for the drug cartel. He is a smuggler who's helping them. And it's like it's like the beginning and the end. They meet up, and that's why we saw him all this time. And then he's just promptly killed. But since he's been built up throughout the movie as like just this guy, a nice guy, a cop, he has a family, a child, a wife. He's like, and then he's just murdered right away. He's like, then. That shows how like brutal and uncaring the drug cartel like environment is. Like how a regular person just doesn't mean anything. He's just whatever, just kill him. Bye.
Huh?
I thought something like that was gonna happen here. Like, they're gonna turn up in the end, and I gotta save my children or something. But now every character is introduced, and then they do their part of the thing, and then they're gone. Bye.
I think
and nothing happens.
I think this movie should be seen as a. Again, I usually just compare it with great movies, or I compare bad movies with great movies often in this pod.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not saying they're on par at all, or even in the same league, but I think you're supposed to see
ideas.
This. Yeah, but to see this movie sort of as a maybe like coffee and cigarettes.
Okay, yeah.
That it's
the
just
same
small
structure.
It's small stories, which is like tidbit, just a small snapshot of a life, and they're all connected. And I think it would have been so much better if Lawrence Fishburne was not the bad guy, or if he was the bad guy, he didn't have a relationship with Nicolas Cage. That it was just this. We see all these stories, and Nicolas Cage is just sort of looming in the background all the time.
Yeah.
And then when they find the place, the leak, he just sort of goes in, kills that guy, and then calls the boss and say it's been fixed, and the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Where it should just, instead of trying, because they tried half-heartedly to create a 3-part structure story, but the movie shouldn't have been that sort of.
Yeah.
trying again with that we saw Lawrence Fishburne from the beginning of the movie. We see him just here and there, and Nicolas Cage has also sort of too big of a character.
Yeah,
he should be more as the executioner, just a silent guy who's there. We shouldn't know anything about him.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
I agree.
But talk about Nicolas Cage. What do you think about his job? His acting in this?
Oh, he was it could have been literally anyone,
including a paper bag.
Yes, him and Cole Hauser, they do nothing. No. I do gotta say though, not that he's done an amazing job of acting or whatever, but I like the fact that Cole Hauser was he was like silent, he was executioner. Yeah. They set him up as this like super menacing because he's kind of big. He has the beard. He usually doesn't have a beard in movies, and he looks pretty fucking like built, like he's like worked out. So I was waiting for him to like snap at some point. We see him just rip someone apart or something, but he doesn't. But he has that air about him. I liked that, but eventually you figure out like, oh, he's not going to do anything in the movie, so it's just kind of boring. But I liked the idea of the character.
Well, he does kill Lawrence Fishburne at the end.
Yeah, sure, but
like
at that point it could have been anyone. Like,
yeah, sure. But I think it should have just been him, and they should have just cut out Nicolas Cage entirely from this movie.
Yeah,
and Lawrence Fishburne should just have been unceremoniously killed, somewhere in the middle of Act 3.
Yeah. This whole thing where they're like friends and they're trying to figure things out in the woods. That's when it tries to be a movie all of a sudden. Like, no.
Yeah.
You've already wasted over an hour. Like,
that's not what we're doing here.
Exactly. Don't try to be a movie now. Just get this over with.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. No one did a bad job. But no one did a good job either. Because they weren't acting. They were just doing things in scenes.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I mean, he did what he was there to do.
Yeah.
But he wasn't needed.
Yeah. What he was there to do was not interesting.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, no shade on Nicolas Cage,
no.
But it was a bad part. Yeah. Badly written. Everything was bad with that part. That part shouldn't have been in the movie at all.
Yeah.
I don't get it why he took this movie.
Money, probably. Or
you think?
Or if he read the script, and he thought it was like an interesting, very like grounded, sort of realistic look at drug smuggling. It's like, that's interesting. And I'll do it. Because then you can put my name on the poster. That the classic, I'll help you out, basically.
Yeah.
I think that could maybe be the reason. I'm not sure, but
I don't know. This was one of those movies I can't really see why he would want to be in this. It doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
It's not a fun idea. It's not a fun part. It's I don't know. Is it an unknown director?
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess an unknown director, maybe. I don't know.
Has he done anything?
He done some action movies, I think.
They did one movie before this called Smoke with Lungs.
Was a show. Yeah, Smoke with Lungs, and then he did a TV show, or one episode of a TV show. SEAL Team.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a lot about drugs. The Smoke with Lungs also seem to be about drugs.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Oh well.
I don't know.
I liked it. I don't hate it.
Okay.
It's more accurate.
No, I didn't hate it either. I just thought it was barely a movie. So it was like whatever.
I was entertained.
Okay.
I didn't regret the time I spent on it, but I'm not going to see it again. And I feel already I'm forgetting most of it.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was going through, for some reason, I was just checking through the Adam Sandler podcast we did before.
Okay.
There's so many movies in there I don't remember at all. I don't remember seeing at all, and I feel this is going to be one of those. And like, give it a year, I won't remember this movie at all.
Yeah, give me a month. I won't remember this movie.
So are we just gonna go to scores, or do we have?
Yeah, well, there's only seven
Yeah.
professional reviews here. It has a 42 mega score, which is not terrible. You know, we've had a lot worse recently.
Well,
The highest it has is actually from two pretty trusted sources here. Variety and Film Threat gave it 7 out of 10. Yeah, which is like, what the fuck? Variety says the result isn't exactly a docudrama indictment like Traffic, a thriller a la Sicario. They mentioned Sicario, a plea for innocent victims, or a Tarantino-esque bloody crime comedy. Rather, Running with the Devil is all of the above. Yeah, confidently blend together many narrative and tonal elements into a surprisingly cohesive whole. Sure. Film Threat wrote, with a talented seasoned cast and the capable directing hands of Jason Cabell. What is he? Oh, whatever. Running with the Devil is a dark, suspenseful, and fascinating look at a subject often debated. Definitely worth a look. I don't know. Then some middling ones. Wow, what? Film Threat has a second review of it as well, where they gave it a 5 out of 10. Okay. And there they wrote, boasting an astounding cast, Cage, Fishburne, Barry Pepper, Adam Goldberg, Leslie Bibb, and Clifton Collins Jr., it's even more disheartening that Running with the Devil is a garbled crime expedition that never follows through on its various subplots. That sounds a lot more like what I think.
Yeah.
Why do they have two reviews?
Was the first review before they saw the movie?
I don't know. Yeah, it was their review of the trailer. I don't know. And then New York Post gave it a 25 out of 100. Observer did the same. And they wrote, in reality, it's a tiresome parade of gory and sexist cliches that are frankly insulting to a cast that includes Fishburne, Pepper, Goldberg, Bibb, and Clifton Collins Jr. Gory? I don't remember being that gory.
No, I think at the end it's...
Oh,
gory.
Sure. And then Observer wrote, ho-hum. Running with the Devil... Yeah, ho-hum, period. Running with the Devil is yet another generic drug trade thriller that defies coherence, embraces cliches, and wastes the time and talent of Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I agree. What are the users saying? The people?
So, first of all, I'm just going to say the review of where it says it's like it blends things into a cohesive whole.
Yeah.
That review, that is a great review if you really want to sell this movie. Because it's exactly what it's trying to do.
But it kind of fails on all of those.
Yeah, but it sort of fails at the end.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very good description of what the movie wants to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's 5.4. It's the overall IMDb.
Pretty good.
It's a lot of like middling reviews, like 5s and 6s. So 5 out of 10, extremely flawed but very enjoyable for the fans of the cast. 6 out of 10, quite good. 5 out of 10, bearable, just about. 7 out of 10, watchable. It's like 6 out of 10, average thriller. Everyone is like, yeah, it's fine. Sort of.
Yeah.
There was one found. Where did it go? 1 out of 10. So I think it's a little harsh. Where did it go? There it goes. Awful movie. The director completely lost track of the timing and the temp. It is as if he fell asleep during the shoot. There's absolutely no suspense, no drama, no sense of danger, or almost otherwise. It's almost a collection of vignettes that is not connected as well.
Yeah.
The director should not be allowed in front of a camera. No, in front of a camera. No. The story seemed kind of interesting, but the result is boring, inert, and absurd. Please don't watch this movie.
Do not.
I'm just gonna see if there's... Oh yeah, there was one 8 out of 10 It's a lie. A documentary of the do's and don'ts of running your own cocaine empire.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Newbie, only his second film, writer and director Jason Cabell, is a former Navy SEAL and inspired the story from true events. He did a decent job behind the camera and directing his cast, but his writing certainly needs some tweaking. Some scenes were too long and others needed more information, e.g. the dinner plate and its people. I don't even remember that. So there was obvious plots and technical issues with the screenplay. Running with the Devil is fascinating when dealing only with procedure, with Cabell capturing the machine of trafficking and its problematic participants, with a few unable to refuse an opportunity to sample the goods, either to satisfy themselves or impress others. Cabell doesn't craft a nail-biter, but there's an underworld awareness here that gives the feature something different to do. Well, it keeps on going, but that's sort of where I feel with the movie. Again, it has a lot of... I think that's maybe the part of it. It's fascinating when dealing only with procedure.
Yeah, because that's what it is.
Feel about the movie. Yeah,
this could have been like a... You could have fleshed out each leg of the journey and made it an episode of a TV show, and actually show like you could have each character, like the farmer or the captain or the guy in the truck, have them have each their own episode, and things actually happening more than them just delivering it. Like, oh, they get attacked at sea by pirates and his car breaks down and he has to trek through or something like that, that make us care about the characters, but then each of the characters ends up dead or almost dead or whatever to show like how bad this really is.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Because even though this, like you said, the guy is a former Navy SEAL, it's inspired by reality and all that. We've said that before. Like, reality doesn't always make a good story, though.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you have to like add things to make it interesting, to make it exciting. Yeah. Had it just been a documentary, then yeah, sure, really interesting. But as a movie, at least for me, I needed more.
Yeah, I agree. And on that, what are you going to give this movie?
On Letterboxd, I guess I was a little harsh. I gave it a 1 out of 5.
Ooh,
so a 2,
really?
That would be a 2 out of 10. It's not a 2. It's because it's not, like I said, it's not bad. It's just not good. So I'll give it a really, really weak, super thin, weak 4 out of 10.
All right. So I was gonna go in here with a 6, week 6, but after discussing it, I think I'm gonna drop that down to a 5, just a 5.
Yeah, middle of the road. Yeah.
Yeah, very middle of the road. Yeah. So that was Running with the Devil.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage third movie released in 2019. Next week we're gonna go to his fourth movie released in 2019.
Kill Chain.
Kill Chain.
Where he plays Aranya.
Let's see what that is.
Yeah.
Three strangers' lives are inevitably entangled in a conflict none of them are prepared for. Alright.
Oh, I think I've seen a trailer for this.
Seems like an action movie, maybe? Nicolas Cage going back to his action roots, maybe?
Yeah. And it looks like it takes place in the South. So he's...
The South!
I just gotta look if it says somewhere where it's shot. Because he likes to shoot films in... No, it just says United States. Alright, I don't know.
Maybe New Orleans?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This must be another New Orleans movie. He likes New Orleans. Yeah, but we'll see. Maybe it's a diamond in the rough or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have any it doesn't have a Metascore. That doesn't bode well. A user rating of 5.0. That's
5.0.
Oh well. I guess we'll have to see. So if you wanna,
we've gone this far, we can't stop now.
Exactly. If you wanna follow along for next week, check out Kill Chain. I'm sure it's available everywhere. Also, if you like the show, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or click follow or whatever on any on all the major podcast platforms wherever you're listening to this. If you want to support us even more and get these episodes in advance, check us out on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. And we'll be back next week with Kill Chain, as we said. But until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Madness in the Method is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is produced and directed by Tobias Vedén and hosted by Tobias Vedén and Christopher Billén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén. A huge shout out goes to all our patrons on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Mom, Dad, Laura Kinney, Danny Del Gaiso, Christopher Billén, Mac and Mom, and Sika85.